Did you conquer Dude yet? Did you get all the sand? Like, are the worms listening? Like, you know what I mean? Welcome back to Seeker and Confessor, a Sword of Truth podcast. I'm your host, Frank.
And I'm Lauren.
Today we're covering the second part 2, of chapter 42 of A Wizard's First Rule by Terry Goodkind.
Hey!
Angels up.
Angels up,
Angels
girls.
up, girls.
Yeah.
Yeah, the angels, they gotta be on. They gotta be on for, when the Sith are Sithing.
Okay, yeah. They're off. There's one sitting there that's not turned on.
Correct.
When the Mord-Sith aren't actively around.
But now they're active. They're Sithing.
It's on. You see it.
The Mord is Mording, the Sith is Sithing, mm-hmm. The Richards are screaming.
That's how those two things go together. Until Richard is their beautiful, empathetic, unique king. Just
the under king.
That nobody expected. The
most
empathy that you could never even have imagined in a human coming out of Richard.
It's almost biblically empathetic. Yeah. Yeah, Richard's just he's that guy, you know? Like he's got more soul than the man of soul. He's got more Riz than the Riz master himself. Yeah. Wizzy Rizzy. Oh, I'm so at the end.
How do we feel about part 2 of chapter 42?
I'm not going to lie. When I read this all the way through the first time, I liked it.
Okay.
And then upon inspection,
yes,
I feel like it's insane.
It is a little insane. It's a mixed bag.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you reach in your hand in and some things are kind of pointy and some things are kind of gross and some things you're like, oh, that's kind of nice, you know?
A nice bauble.
Yeah.
You pull out
who left this $5 bill in here? Like, yeah, lots of a snow globe. Nice, yeah.
Like maybe a Snickers or something.
Snickers, and then like your hand gets like kind of like on some old goo and you're like, what was that? Like, some old goo. Yeah.
You have a way with words right now.
I have a way with goo right now.
It's late at night.
But yeah, where we're at the book, I mean, yeah.
I feel conflicted. I feel like almost like every little bit, every paragraph, I kept feeling like there's something here I can compliment and there's something here I can insult and tear apart.
Yeah.
At all times.
I agree.
There's something here that I'm kind of impressed by. There's also something here that I hate.
Yep. Look at the flow. Oh, that's a nice scene. Why is he doing that? Where are they going? This makes no sense. Oh, that was kind of deep. Did that mean something?
Well, we're really balls deep in the Denna redemption arc now.
Yes, we are.
It's happening.
Whether you like it or not.
He does both a bad job and a good job.
I agree.
On that front as well.
Yeah, he's jobbing constantly, right? I can't do this and say jobbing. Let's dive in.
Okay. We left off with the bedroom scene between Richard and Denna at the People's Palace in their suite.
Yep.
And, angels were in teeth.
We're having the pain sex. Yeah, we're in.
How did it go? What did they do? Who knows? We're not shown. Yes, and then as you said, many days have passed that were all the same. Mm-hmm. And Richard doesn't really mind the devotion so much because he's not getting tortured during them. But he also still hates saying the words. Yeah,
this is a Terryism where it's like he literally can't say Richard enjoyed it because that would make him like stupid or bad or something. And the catch-all of this braid is getting silly at this point.
No, the braid...
I was furious, but if I focused on the braid, so I was okay.
Okay, first, at this point, you guys are having sex. I think you could transfer... Like, you initially did the braid thing because you were like, I refuse to sexualize this woman. I want to pick the most innocuous, like... thing that's not intimately part of her to focus on.
I agree.
But at this point, you're in it. You're broken. You have sex with her. Think about her boobs or something. Let's move on.
This is why this doesn't really jive, right?
Yeah.
Because it's like, oh, he's broken. Oh, he's so in it with her. And he's not.
I know.
It feels fake.
I agree.
And then I'm like, the way this magic is being told to me that it works, it shouldn't be working then. Like, he should be getting tortured by the sword magic constantly at this point.
The braid should be losing potency at this point for
Absolutely.
him. I think maybe you could argue that since he, like, that was his original choice, and he's, like, doubled down on using it as a symbol.
And he likes hair. I get it.
He does like
He likes hair.
And yeah, if we go with the hair fetish theory, it does work.
It ain't a theory.
It's got to be canon, yeah.
It's canon.
Well,
it's
so then if that is canon, then actually it makes sense, right?
Yeah, you're right. That's it.
Right, so,
yeah.
You can't have it both ways. It's one or the other.
He really likes that hair. I don't know.
So then, that's that.
He's having sex with her.
I know, you think...
And he kind of loves her, and I understand that.
No, totally. I do think I would like to have seen a progression where, like, in order to abate the anger, now he actually can just think about her in a much more whole sense.
I agree.
And that would really get across to me he has made a transition in his relationship with her.
Yes,
right.
I agree. And what annoys me is because I do think that there are some scenes in here throughout this entire arc where Terry does effortlessly and quite well show that mental descent that Richard's going through, like bit by bit losing things. And if he included sexuality and sexual attraction in that, it would be much more potent and reasonable.
And yeah, and like you would relate to it better.
That's what I'm saying. I think it would be just a better piece altogether.
Yeah. Richard randomly wakes up in the middle of the night saying the words, the mantra to Dark and Raw. So now Denna these days, she's only wearing white leather now.
Okay.
As a symbol that they are mated and that Richard is broken, and it's to show that she no longer has to make him bleed in order to make him devoted to her. She doesn't it doesn't require that much effort anymore because he's so in it.
Yeah. Which,
number one, confessor coded, right?
Of course, yeah.
As he falls in love with her, she starts to sort of visually take on Kaylin's image.
Her at least her I don't know, vestiges of office, you know?
Yeah, true.
Weirdly enough, yeah.
So that's interesting. I like the idea of the white and being like, actually, as it goes, you don't have to exert so much violence and effort. But then that kind of contradicts the whole thing that is going to happen later with Dark and Raw and Constance, where they're kind of like shook that she's not going as hard at Richard anymore. And I'm like, but if there's a precedent that when someone's broken and your mate, you don't anymore, this shouldn't be weird.
I had a problem. Actually, I have a deep
problem. I have a lot of problems with
the entire mating ability of the Mord-Sith.
Okay, you want to move it.
I don't... It doesn't make sense when their primary function is to beat people so much that it doesn't. Yeah, you're right. It doesn't make sense if you're training spies, right?
You're saying that
or whatever you're training. What is I'm saying? Like when I say spies, I don't mean like intel gatherers. Interrogate. You're training high level interrogators. Who are getting into the minds and the souls of the people they capture. You shouldn't let them mate.
No,
because that's just going to complicate things.
Yeah, I don't really get what the benefit of letting them do that. Like, why do you even have... And even if you're like, I just do not care if you have sex with them, that's one thing. That's very different than formally...
Being like, we have
a version of marriage.
Yeah, what? Like, what?
Why, though?
What are we doing?
What's the benefit from Dark and Raw's point of view, or the Mord-Sith? Who's benefiting from
And
that?
this is not how you make more Mord-Sith, because...
Right, you don't. That's not how
Mord-Sith are chosen from the poor people or something, however they're chosen, but...
Yeah, I don't understand. It really doesn't... I can't comprehend... You think there's going to be, like, a Terry lore dump paragraph at some point about why they take mates.
I don't remember if there is, but there could be. No, it just feels like something that he's like... I think it's like another parallel to Mother Confessors.
No, 100% that's why he wanted it, but then he could even retroactively come up with a reason for it.
And that's probably what he'll do, yeah.
But maybe he won't. He might not. He might just be like, no, of course, they just do that. It's like, well, why?
Well, I think because I do... After this book and whenever Richard, I think, dismantles the Mord-Sith process.
Something like that, yeah.
Which makes sense to do. Yeah. Because it's terrible, but...
As terrible as you could possibly
fathom. I don't feel like I need to say that, but yeah.
I don't either. I can't comprehend. If I were trying to think of Mord-Sith in terms of like how this would function, like from Darken Rawl's perspective, on a practical level, all of these things. I couldn't come up with a reason why they would require mates unless you created a much wider cultural like belief system around it. Then maybe you could get me there, but right now I don't know why she's allowed to do this.
So historically, she's the only one that made it and then went too light on her slave. You know what I mean?
Well, I don't think they conceptualize the mating as romantic.
Oh, but Denna's the only one who ever did this?
Yeah, because number one, Richard...
he's got the holy dick. Yeah, I forgot.
He does. He's got holy everything, and he somehow is going to find a way through his pure soul to build that connection where no other man could.
No man or woman, honestly. He's the greatest being to ever live. But anyway.
Yeah.
The woods taught him that. He comes from the Heartland Woods. He's got such a big heart.
That's it. He says Constance trains with him and Denna about half the time, and she's also working with other men on her own, and she keeps getting more insistent that she should be alone with Richard, and Denna keeps saying no.
Not to revisit this, because it's insane, right? Constance wanting this is just crazy.
I think that I was like, okay, what? I kept being like, what's Constance's motivation? And I was like, the only motivation really at this point is just jealousy with Denna, which that kind of makes sense.
Sure,
I'll buy that
a bit, yeah.
So she hates men. She's probably going to be jealous of Denna liking anybody. At this point, I think maybe she might even be jealous if it was a woman, but she's going to be doubly, triply so with her affection towards a man because she hates men. And she doesn't think they're worthy of Denna's affection.
Might be true.
So, like, in that sense, I get it, but it also doesn't really read that way either.
No, I agree.
Right? Like, if he had leaned in a little harder into the, like, Constance is a little bit in love with Denna thing.
Yes.
And you felt like she was trying to get to Richard out of the anger, but also in some way trying to benefit Denna in the process.
Correct.
I could understand that, but she does everything here by the end of the chapter. Everything just fucks Denna over.
Correct.
So she's not trying to really benefit Denna in any way.
Which doesn't make sense.
Actually, maybe it kind of does. I guess she's like being it doesn't. I don't know. She's being selfish in that she loves Denna and sort of like selfishly wants Denna for herself, but even at the expense of Denna's well-being, which kind of tracks with like Mord-Sith psychology.
Sure. But her like insistence of wanting to jab the angel in Richard's ear and or butt crack is like,
well, she's
that could kill him and then that hurts Denna.
No, none of that makes sense. None of the Darker Rawl not giving a fuck that, like, you wanted to murder, being like, oh, Constance, you want to murder the guy I really need. I love that. Yeah, you're right. Denna's the problem. It makes no sense. It doesn't make any sense.
But yeah, her being jealous,
I kind of liked. I don't mind that.
It could have been developed better.
I would have liked it if it was developed better. But I guess I question, I'm like, I guess in the past, like, Constance can just tell that Denna has some weird feeling about Richard that is very different than the way she's engaged with men in the past. But Denna said that she's had mates before, right?
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Like, I haven't been given any examples of Denna treating Richard
different than other mates.
Differently, where I could see where Constance was pulling this from. The only thing is that Denna keeps saying, like, don't kill him because Darken Rawl needs him, and that just seems reasonable.
Correct.
You needed to give her another thing for Constance to go, oh.
Agreed.
You seem in love with him. And outside of not wanting to murder him for Darken Rawl, I needed another thing.
Yeah.
Right? I can wipe away all of the she's treating him differently with the Darken Rawl excuse.
Yes.
Too easily for it to like feel good. So he's more and more scared of Constance by the day. And it says Dennis smiles at him anytime Constance takes over. So I think it's interesting, like, in the beginning and midway through the chapter, like, Dennis still seems like into Constance being bad to Richard.
I agree.
Always trying to like work out her feelings on the whole thing.
What, Denna?
Yeah.
It's hard. Yeah. Because they shift so radically even in this very chapter.
Yeah.
At this point, I think she she's squarely a Mord-Sith.
Right.
She loves Denna as her sister.
But she loves Constance.
Oh, sorry. Denna loves Constance as her sister. And this is just what Mord-Sith do. They share the torture.
I get it.
But then she's just, I think, having boundaries around certain things that Constance isn't allowed to do. And they kind of get this weird, like, triangle thing going on.
Okay.
Where Richard's afraid of Constance.
Yeah.
It makes sense. Denna loves Richard or whatever.
Yeah.
Constance hates Richard because of that. Mm-hmm. And Denna enjoys Constance hurting Richard while she watches, but not allowing her to go too far, as like an ultimate kind of power play over both of them.
All right, I could see that.
Some sort of thing,
it's,
right?
Maybe. But
then it shifts a bunch.
It does.
And then they're not very good at having boundaries with each other.
Honestly, my feeling towards their dynamic is more.
I want more.
I'm
100%.
Give me way more of
Show
this.
me them in the teacher's lounge chatting about something.
I want more interesting conversations between them. It's all very repetitive what we do get.
Yeah.
I kind of want to know, I want chatter about, why can't Constance be like, hey, when you were with this mate, remember when this happened? I want to know, some past shit. What's their dynamic been like previously?
Yeah.
I mean, I know we said... Oh, we did remember Angels in Ears. I don't know. That's all we got, though.
That's all we got. And she's desperate to do it again.
So one day, Denna and Richard are alone. She's hoisting him up by his arm behind the back rope contraption.
Yeah.
And
a light afternoon porn. Yeah.
He asks her if she would allow Constance to train him full time from now on. I did it. I know what the reasoning is going to be here, right? About Richard's dumbassery. And it's going to be like, he's locked away. He's just innocent little boy, baby-brained Richard who loves Denna. And he did it. I don't know. I think it's stupid. The fact that he's like, oh my God, wait, what? You're upset? His insistence that he's confused by why Denna might have an issue.
That's why I don't believe any of this bullshit. I don't believe any of this fucking bullshit. Did he lock himself in a way box or not?
Well,
is this a masterstroke of genius?
Why are you saying that?
Where he's just fucking trying to fuck with Denna's brain? Because that's what it does.
Wow. So this is similar to when you thought that Richard was... What was it with Kaylin? Oh, the kiss after they got the box of Orden, and you were like, he's being manipulative.
I think so. So here's what I really believe now: having that experience and now this one, it is not Richard. Terry thinks he's a genius for doing these things through Richard. He thinks it's great storytelling.
Well, okay. I mean, clearly a lot of people think
it's not realistic what is happening here.
I'm not sure I understand what you're taking issue with. Should I keep going?
Yeah. Let's get the whole context.
Okay, so she hoists him up. He says, please, would it be okay if only Constance trains me from now on? And he's being innocent about this
so
is the
innocent.
Implication. And he's like, I'm asking a nice thing. And we know from later on he thinks he's doing a nice thing, but whatever. So Denna doesn't know why he's asking that. And the question had an effect he didn't expect. It enraged her. So Denna's going insane, screaming at him, hitting him with the angel, telling him he's worthless and insignificant, and it's the most severe and cruel she's ever been. And there's blood all over the room. It's all over her beautiful white Mord-Sith gown
I like that.
outfit.
I think that's pretty
liked
cool.
it too.
Yeah.
And her braid is loose. We do use the braid a lot as a symbol.
Yeah.
If your braid is clean and tidy,
you are
something good. And if it only seems to come undone when somebody's being bad.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know. She even yanks his head back and angels him in the ear with no warning. She does it over and over again. She really pushes it in there, which very risky behavior.
Yeah, because he
all things considered.
Yeah.
And
I would.
But I get it, because at least in this scene, like, this makes more sense to me than, like, the Constance shit and everything.
Yes.
Because you're like, Denna literally is insane right now, and she is being like, I actually don't even care what happens, because I'm so angry.
Yeah. Another reason you shouldn't let these people take mates. But yeah.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, I'm like, okay, she just doesn't care about the repercussions, so she's risking it all.
Sure.
Where, like, Constance, you're like, why are you risking that in that moment when you're calm and thinking it through? But yeah, I said, you saying one reason they shouldn't take a bait, I said Mord-Sith seem to kind of suck at their jobs, because I just feel like they're so emotional and messy and don't seem to have their eye on the prize for Dark and Raw whatsoever. And by the way, I looked up for a random reason. I was looking at the Wikipedia article, the Sword of Truth Wikipedia article for Mord-Sith, and like the first sentence on there is something that's like, they like are their only devotion in life is Master Rahl and blah blah blah. And I'm like, no, it's not though. No, it's not.
He says it over and over. No, you're right. It does say that, and that is a tenet of Mord-Sithery.
Mord-Sith believe that it is their sole purpose in life and death to serve Lord Rahl unconditionally and in every way. Their devotion is unparalleled. No, it's not. Their devotion is not unparalleled. My girl got
mates. They're
mildly pissed off from jealousy and was like, I'm ruining Dark and Rahl, you're gonna die for my petty anger. So, okay, fine.
Yep.
That could be their characterization, right? That they kind of suck, and like I said, the job isn't working what he wants from them.
Yep.
But that can't be their description, because I've never seen it. I've never seen a day in my life. Constance isn't doing it. Denna's not doing it. Who's doing it?
Who's doing it? Kara and the other good Mord-Sith.
If that were true, if it's unconditional, they will do anything in life and death, then Denna would be like, nothing would get in the way of her making sure that Richard...
Yeah.
And fine, we have the arc where later in the chapter, she's going to be too emotional about it and failing, but she's not there yet.
No. It's funny that Terry, who's all about rugged individualism... and is mocking like this sort of all for one, or all for one, right. Like communistic, whatever. Oh, no, not the opposite. Whatever.
Yeah. Wait.
What am I looking for?
I don't know. What are you saying?
He's trying to mock this like dictator as king, as everyone's serving him, but it's like he can't even write those characters as doing that. You know what I mean?
Well, I think, but maybe that's the point. He's saying like, look, they're failing even within the system. The system can't exist. Look what'll happen.
But then you're just kind of saying the system doesn't exist, right? Like,
I mean, I guess it doesn't. I don't think
it's just dumb lip service. That's what he's saying.
Yeah, he says that a lot.
Yeah, that's true.
He does.
That's true. All right. So she goes on and on. She just beats the crap out of him.
He's in a bad state, and then she leaves to go to dinner, and she turns on, as you do, the pain magic, and tells him he's going to be stuck with it the whole time. He can't pass out, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And then eventually she comes back. She drops him on the floor, stands on top of his head, boots to the side of his head, looks down at him, turns the pain off, and she says, I told you before, you are my mate for life. And asks why he wants Constance instead. Okay. Him being like, I didn't know she was going to get mad about me not wanting her to be by Mord-Sith anymore, even though she clearly takes so much pride in it, picked me to be her mate, seems to take a lot of, like, emotional pleasure in, like, whatever. And then, like I said, I think the argument's going to end up being, oh, but he's not really thinking, he's not really there. But I don't know. He seems like
none of it makes sense. He could think plenty fine. And this is another level of this. Richard is apparently broken and does everything for Denna. So he couldn't have prefaced that sentence in a way that made her feel better.
Why he wasn't?
Terry just wanted this scene to happen.
But what is your? You think that Richard is so manipulative?
No.
That was your original.
I think Terry accidentally writes Richard manipulative.
That I think is probably. If Richard's being manipulative, I think that is why.
It doesn't make sense within your own narrative.
What do you? I don't think I'm following this.
This is manipulative, like, discourse.
It could, like, If he was being manipulative, this is like a crazy play.
But that's the problem. He's not. So that's why it doesn't make sense. It only is manipulation.
Yeah, I know. Well, it's not, though.
But it's not. So it's like, that's why it's like, this is like a paradox. It doesn't, you wouldn't act this way when the results are so clearly good for you.
How are the results? Why do you say that? Because she's gonna, like, be in love with him?
Yes!
Now? Okay, but also, I still don't understand. This misunderstanding, I suppose, if I buy into the idea that Richard is, like, just so stupid right now that he couldn't have comprehended that Denna might be upset by that.
Yeah, sure, yeah.
If I buy that, then I still don't understand. Once he explains it, from then on, we're in the arc of, oh my god, Richard has reached this unheard of level of empathy. And I'm still confused by it because I still, as I'm reading it, all the like logical connections Richard is making where he's going, oh, but I'm I'm broken and I'm devoted to you and your happiness is the only thing I care about. Therefore, when I find out you're in pain, it upsets me, just seems like a logical endpoint that is not truly unique.
I agree.
Right? Like, I'm just like, no, I still don't get it. If the breaking process works the way you guys have implied it does, this is the only logical conclusion.
Of course. I feel like 90% of your male housebroken slaves would come to this conclusion.
Me too.
Right? They'd be like, oh, it hurts you to hurt me. I'm sorry.
Literally, like, I just don't think that's all that out there.
It's not deep. That's just like right near the surface.
Saying everyone would come to that conclusion. Certainly some people never would because they would like maintain some semblance of like too much anger at you.
Sure.
But some broken people would get there in the existence of the Mord-Sith. I can't believe Richard's the only one.
No. And then we need to investigate, is it good to get there? Is he a good person for getting there?
That's what I'm saying. Right. Exactly. Because I feel like a lot of this is like dunking on Constance, for example, for being somebody that harbors too much anger to get somewhere like that. And I'm like, but I kind of think maybe that's respectable on some level to like maintain that like level of dignity and in outrage at what is occurring. Is that crazy to do? I don't know. Shouldn't you?
I would think.
Because I think Richard in another scenario where it is not hot ladies that we are eventually supposed to love and empathize with and make fun little mascots for the series.
Yep.
Say it is Jigang, or just somebody who's not the Mord-Sith. I think Richard being like, no, my anger will never go away because I'm not okay with what you've done. It is evil with a capital E in the true sense with a capital T.
Yep.
Blah, blah, blah. And we'll be like, wow, how amazing that he didn't give in. And like, I just don't get why like Constance not giving in this instance, where like how toxic of her and how incredible of Richard and how this and how that, but I just could see the reverse happening so easily.
And it will.
I know.
That's the worst part.
Is that a consistent theme that every time Richard's in a scenario in which somebody is being bad to him or others, those people should be like extending extreme levels of empathy to the perpetrators? Because once again, Queen Milena doesn't get that treatment. Princess Violet doesn't get that treatment. I think there's tons of people who will not get that treatment. I don't really get why Constance is bad and Richard is good here. I don't
know.
I think that they're all kind of equally unique and valid ways to approach the situation.
Agreed.
It irritates me. I don't think I'm supposed to come away from the end of the chapter thinking, oh, Constance is just a unique variation which is equally as valid, right?
Yeah.
I think I am supposed to not like her because you see she's ugly and sweaty, and she also
her braid's bad,
and she ratted out her best friend, and she wants to chop off Richard's dick, and all around just a bad lady. And again, Richard, for not having that reaction to being tortured for life, is just so good.
Yeah.
Until that time when being tortured for life is an outrage.
Let's be fair. These were kids tortured from 12 to 16.
I know.
And Richard has been tortured for a little under 3 weeks, I think, right?
Yeah.
So
give me a break.
Give it a rest. Maybe this would erode over time. And Richard would either have no personality left, or
have him have to torture fucking Zed and Kaylin and get back to me and let me know if he's still acting like this, putting fucking lotion all over these women.
He'd be the most hot, dominant man in the world, actually. He'd come out the other side loving to play the game. I don't fucking know. I don't get it. Mord-Sith don't make sense. Letting them mate doesn't make sense. Constance is not really that bad. In fact, she's logical based on... Wanting to cut his dick off is weird, but that's, you're going to have some freaks after you go through this process.
Well, it's the man hatred.
Yep. Nobody seems to give a fuck about Dark and Raw for real.
No.
And...
No, they don't.
Richard's a little fuck, and he's very Samuel-like in this moment. I have the quote.
Okay.
I said it's the ultimate Christ-like line with the twist of Samuel. Because, Mistress Denna, I know it hurts you to hold the angel.
Oh.
I know it hurts you to train me. Oh. I wanted Mistress Constance to do it, to spare you the pain. I don't want you to hurt. I know what it feels like to hurt. You have taught me. Fuck you, Richard. You have already been hurt enough. I don't want you to hurt anymore. I would rather have Mistress Constance punish me than have you be in pain.
Fuck Mistress Constance, though, right?
Fuck Mistress Constance. Why is she worse? It's just that you like this one because she was hot and then did it to you. So the one who hurts you is good and worthy of not getting hurt anymore. But the one who was hurt by someone else just as bad...
Yeah.
...is bad because she's not hot and didn't hurt me.
I know, but I guess he is, he's in his broken down, I'm obsessed with Denna state.
Uh-huh.
And, we have to take that into consideration because that is a reality.
Yes, okay. So I get that. So then this is not a moral stance.
No.
This is a whipped up porn
but that's exactly
Coomer brain stance.
Right, that's what I'm saying. So, if it is a moral stance, I'm supposed to be like, Richard's morals are just impeccable. Him wanting to... move the pain over to Mistress Constance is crazy because they are both equally undeserving of it by that
Some
logic.
weird logic is that Constance is ugly and bad, therefore moving the pain to her makes sense and is good. But whatever. So then the other flip side
would be that it's not anything to do with Richard's moral sensibilities. It's actually just him being so absolutely, wildly, utterly devoted to Mistress Denna due to her doing such a good job breaking him. Mm-hmm. In which case, that's not really that impressive in terms of, Richard's morality. It's just a matter of, you broke him really good.
Yes, which you said you're very good at doing.
I guess you're good at.
Because you ride that line with the emotionality and the whatever she's good at, and Constance isn't. So you've done this before. You've taken mates.
Yeah.
You've broken men in such a way. For some reason, none of them have gotten to this point, which is unbelievable and unrealistic.
Yeah. I think maybe the implication is that, on some level, all of those men, underneath it all, harbored some form of ill will towards her that somehow Richard has truly rid himself of.
Okay.
And I guess I'm okay, again, I just don't know if that is a moral ideal in some way when he is just pointing fingers and going good Mord-Sith, bad Mord-Sith, give her the bad shit. You get the... I don't know. It's it makes sense why he would want that, just from a personal standpoint, given the circumstances. But again, it's just not really, morally sound. It's just
it's not morally sound.
It's a selfish thing he wants.
But it is being written that way,
I know. That's what's weird about it.
And there's also a component... Because it works on Denna. She's fucking hook, line, and sinker over this bitch after this.
This is the manipulation angle.
Is this something that someone like Denna would fall for?
Right.
Because she's looking for this sort of softness and kindness.
Yeah, she is.
From a man that she is so terrible to find her own softness again. Okay. That's the argument, right? That's what happened.
Right.
Is that reasonable?
Yeah, I think that's... If I like anything, I suppose it is that part of Denna coming out, because I do think that's believable, right?
Okay.
I think that's believable.
Would her bullshit detector not be blaring sirens right now.
But it's not totally... Why? That's assuming you are correct in saying it is manipulation.
There's no way it's not a little.
Not. I don't think it is. I don't think it's meant to be.
It's something. I don't know.
Well, while he said that, I do want to point out one thing that I think is kind of interesting. She's asking him, why did you want Constance to train you instead of me? He's, like, trying to get up, and he's, like, choking on his blood, and he, like, can't stand up. And she pulls him up by his hair, and he gets dizzy, and he falls against her, and his face against the wet blood on her belly. I thought the imagery of this was very interesting, of her wearing the white outfit, Richard, like, falling into her belly and then, like, smearing blood all over it. And then later, when they have sex at the end of the chapter, she puts his hand on her belly, and it's right after she says that she's barren. And so I feel like this has some sort of, like, womb mother imagery.
Absolutely.
And interesting that, given all the mother stuff...
It's definitely interesting, but once again, what does it mean?
I have no idea. After Richard's little speech... Oh, you've already been hurt enough. I'm just trying to take the pain away from you. It's silent for a bit. She says, I don't understand you, Richard Cypher. The spirits take me. I don't understand you.
He won at porn.
He won porn forever and ever.
He locked it in.
That's crazy.
Porn said, high score, Richard Cypher. Ding, 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 ding.
Like, again, I just, like, hearing the speech, I'm like, I can't believe you've never heard that before. That seems weird. Or, like, just some part of your brain wouldn't then just go, oh, wow, I've unlocked a new level of devotion. Incredible. The implication is that it can't just be further self-preservation, further levels of breaking. It's instead some new thing. And I'm like, why not? It tracks perfectly fine with the other narrative.
Of course.
So her being like, you are just incredible, and it's totally unrelated to the whole thing we've been doing, doesn't really make sense to me.
No, it fits right in line.
It does.
And actually, I want to retract. It's anti-Samuel, because Samuel was very selfish.
Yes,
this is the opposite of that. This is submission through total giving of the self. Give me more pain away from you, which is the last thing I want. To be good for you.
Yeah. Which is very, like, you're like, I guess, like, confessed people would get here, though, right?
I don't know if they could. That's interesting. Because confessed people only want to be with you.
I know, but if she tells you to go away,
and that would bring you pleasure, you'll do it, but it would hurt, wouldn't it? Like, it would be
but this'll hurt him, too.
True.
Right?
Yeah.
The bell rings for devotions. She, like, gently helps him up. They go there. This was, like, baller imagery. She has strings of blood all over her white outfit and, like, in her hair and on her face.
Yeah.
And she's just, like, bringing him there because they have to go. And everybody's, like, averting their eyes from them on their way in.
I guess because it's disrespectful for... Like, because it's embarrassing, like, with the white...
I think there's shame in, like, oh, you thought he was this level of broken and he must not be. You were wrong.
Something happened. Yeah, and it's kind of like, I'm not getting involved in the Mord-Sith spat. Yeah.
Constance comes over looking happy. She's, my Denna, looks like you've been having fun. Been a bad boy, have you? And then, like, I know. I'm free. Let's go teach him what 2 Mord-Sith can do.
You've been doing it all week.
I know.
It's just like,
no, exactly.
It's not interesting. Let's show him what 2 more...
I've done that for, like, weeks
You have
now.
been here 6 out of 7 days teaching him what 2 Mord-Sith can do. You got another level of ultimate pain? It doesn't make any... It should have been slower.
Yeah.
It's like, the pain stick alone, you're gonna, like, run out of ideas eventually. But, like, what else we got in the tank, Constance? You got a gun? Like, what are we doing? And, like, no fire pokers, no nothing. Like, we're not maiming. We're never doing...
Right, they're acting like they've refined pain to such a degree that all of that would
stimulate all that with their
comparison.
little stick. Yeah. I guess, but then there's the fear factor of, like, the maiming and all that sort of stuff that I think is unparalleled, right? I would imagine. I've never tortured
Well,
a
I'm just
person
like,
professionally.
we're not
but
like chopping off some fingers or
that's
something.
what I'm saying. That'll definitely.
Because even that, like, you could argue, like, no, the angel hurts worse than chopping off a finger. Okay, but the psychology of losing a finger is
tremendously
way worse.
bad. Yeah.
So it's weird to me that they don't go those places.
I don't get it.
It's a weirdly sanitized
yeah.
version of torture.
Despite all the blood and the wounds. There's no...
And I guess it is easier. It kind of works because it's like a lot easier to read.
Sure.
Right? As a person.
Absolutely.
You're like, the second they start doing things that could happen to me, I'm more inclined to go like, oh, I can't read that.
Yeah.
Or the angel, like, you're like, I can imagine it like cerebrally, but I'm not having this visceral like,
oh, yeah.
Oh, you're chopping off.
You could have chopped off his toes on his left foot, his left fingers, and poked out his left eye. You could have done all those things.
Totally.
But you didn't. I don't know why I picked left.
I don't know. So yeah, let's go teach him what 2 Mord-Sith can do.
Yeah.
And Denna says, not tonight. And she says, what do you mean no? And
what do you mean no? Not tonight. What do you mean no? This is Constance's energy, though. It doesn't make any sense.
Interactions are so very boring and lacking in like interesting dialogue. Again, it's so repetitive. They both are just, and I get it, like, people were saying in the comments, like, they're, like, very emotionally stunted, and I think part of it definitely is just that. That's why they're, like, blowing up at each other and acting childish. I still think they could, like, do it more, in a more interesting way.
100%.
Like,
100%. When you read Dune and the Bene Gesserits are talking, is it just one-dimensional, like, did you conquer Dune yet? Did you get all the sand? Like... Are the worms listening? Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. No, it's like...
They're like...
Sister, is Paul Atreides on
I want to put Paul's hand in the box. Not today, not the box.
No, not
the box.
Put him in the box. We gotta put him in the box.
And then they say it like 20 times, yeah.
Did you put him in the box yet? No, sister, not yet. Not tonight. Why not tonight? If we go too soon, it might kill him, and we need him for our plans. No, fuck our plans! I know we've been working on it for 6 centuries. Throw him in the box, sister! God damn it.
So, okay, Denna blows up. Blows up. She says, I mean, no! He's my mate, and I'm taking him back to train him as such. Do you wish to come and watch when I lie with my mate? Do you want to watch too when I have the angel between my teeth?
Whoa. And the nameless, whatever they're called, the people around.
Missionaries.
The missionaries are like, oh. How many missionaries are like jerking it to the Mord-Sith?
You'd think many.
Right? They're like, holy shit.
Again, the same way I wanted to know if there were like cults who were obsessed with the Mother Confessor.
Yeah.
I want to know who is obsessed with the Mord-Sith. There's gotta be men like lining up outside the people's palace and being like, let the mistresses take me, please.
I don't know if people are lining up outside the palace screaming that.
Men, yeah.
No, I don't think so.
They so are.
But maybe people in the palace are gooning about the idea. I don't think men are lining up outside the palace saying, take us in and kill us. It's so hot to think about.
Well, if they're gooning about it, why not?
I'd rather goon than die.
And you just don't goon hard enough.
Holy
You just
shit.
don't have enough commitment to gooning.
Listeners, do you goon hard enough to die, or am I a beta cucked? Please comment below. Are you goon-pilled enough to... My hair looks fucking... I look like a disheveled maniac. I've never gooned that hard. Honestly, yeah, I'm slamming against the Alabaster outside the people's palace. Can someone fucking step on me? God damn! Just screaming at the acacia trees.
I think if some people... Okay, fine. I don't know. Maybe it's not the layman of the world.
Oh, man.
But, like, people in the know who have seen a Mord-Sith at a party, you know there's... She was at the banquet.
I know.
Some gentle folk dressed to the nines see her walking around with her little man on a chain. A couple of them would be like, "Oh, how do I get that?"
Yeah, I just walk up, Mistress, you dropped my chain. Could you hold on to this one? Oh,
I just think that
you just swap them. Oh, I got it.
if you were like a fly on the wall in the drinking chambers after the party, the men definitely make jests about it.
Verily.
Forsooth.
Forsooth?
Constance, after she's like, do you want to watch us fuck? Constance like, no.
And Richard's just sitting there like fucked up, being like, oh, I really can't. Fucking tonight would maybe kill me. It's probably not good that she wants that.
But again, like in a way, he's confirming Richard be stupid right now.
Richard be stupid, yeah.
So at least that's consistent, I suppose.
I guess so.
Constance says, of course not. I'm sorry I didn't know. I'll leave you to it. And then she jabs Richard in the stomach with the Angel. Denna and him head back to their room. She's helping him again. She tells him to go get 1 bucket of warm water for the tub. And Richard's like, oh my God, I'm so glad that I don't have to fill it up.
So good.
No, he is stupid through the whole chapter. And he like goes to great lengths to emphasize just how stupid Richard is.
I know.
And because Richard's confused because Denna seems angry, but not at him.
What could that be?
I don't know. Maybe he could be this. Could he be this stupid?
No.
Why not?
Because he's literally just not.
But, like, he's not him anymore. He can't even remember who the fuck he is.
He frequently is like, oh, Dahar. Oh, that's bad. Oh, Rawl? Yeah, I can't. Oh, the book.
That's like little.
I don't buy this thing happens. I don't know.
Don't you buy that you'd be, like, super reduced, though?
For sure. I know he was dumb, but... There's things that are happening that are required to understand people that he's just like suddenly unaware of.
Like what?
Like what we'll get to. How she bathes him and then she sleeps on the floor. And he's like, oh, her back really must hurt. And it's like, you don't know?
Well, because I think at this point, he did set a precedent that was like, Richard no longer can like think for himself. Right?
Yeah.
He relies on Denna to tell him exactly what to do, how to feel, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So I think it's like he just takes her at her word very literally.
I know. Yeah.
She gives him a pear she has from dinner. He's like, no, it's your pear. And then she's like,
I know it's my pear.
She says, do as I say, eat the pear. And then, like, yeah. So then we do this, like, little transitory period they have here where, like, Denna is being very sweet and nice to Richard, but she's doing it via demanding him to accept the niceness. Yeah. Which is like kind of cute and interesting in a way.
It's fine. Yeah.
Then she starts washing him and he's so confused. And then she says, I have a backache. And he says, I'm sorry, I've caused it by my behavior. And then she's like, be quiet. I want to sleep on something hard for my back. I'll sleep on the floor. Since I'll sleep on the floor, you have to sleep in the bed. And I'm bathing you because I don't want blood in the bed. And then stupid Richard goes,
I've gotten blood in the bed a bunch of times and the floor's big enough for both of us.
Right.
Why I gotta be in the bed?
Confused. I guess it's like if you have the wherewithal to think through that, I think you have the wherewithal to come to the answers. Yes. It would be, that's how I kind of would prefer it be portrayed, is that he actually doesn't even question it.
Yes.
If he's like, okay, I would be like, oh, he's just literally just being like, okay, and not thinking
I'm
through.
just listening to what you tell me.
The fact that he has the intelligence.
He's still seeking, but he refuses to find.
Right, I'm like, well, if you even bothered asking the question, then you'd probably come to the conclusion.
Yeah.
I don't think you'd be smart enough to ask the question if you couldn't also
come to the conclusion.
Reason it out.
Because it's not hard. It's like, it's the next thing.
So Richard gets in bed, and then he picks up the angel off the side table because she said she wanted to have sex with him around Constance, and he holds it out to her, and then she takes it and puts it back onto the table, says, not tonight, I told you, I have a backache, go to sleep.
It all feels manipulative and punishing. It's like, oh, you want me to do everything, you want me to feel how you feel, you want me to take all your thoughts and not have my own?
Right.
Okay. And he just figured out a way to, like, hurt her with it. By breaking her resolve to be a Mord-Sith through just okay, I will be so obedient and so nice.
But in what
and
way
so good.
do you think like, okay, say he did have that idea. Like, what is the part, like, what's bad about that for Denna long term?
Well, if it's fake, that's bad, because she believes it's real, right?
I guess.
I don't know. I don't know. Because it's too good for him. It worked out too well. I know Terry set it up that way because the plot was convenient, but it doesn't make sense. Why did Richard, the man who we knew, get reduced down to this boy version who is just so perfectly, like, exactly what Denna wanted? And Denna's surprised by this. Did Denna make Richard like this? And then why has no other man become this thing if that's what she's looking for? Mm-hmm. Richard's truly so rare. Doesn't make sense. We've already established that if he's just became this because that's the process, other men would become this. And then she wouldn't be fucking...
Right, so then it's not the process.
So if it's not the process, it's Richard.
Well, it's the process plus the uniqueness of Richard, right?
Yeah, but everything's too, like... Yeah, I don't... What? So this... peak dominatrix, tortured young girl turning into this, like, ultimate torturer.
Right.
What she was looking for was a hyper-literal, boyish man with a sweet body and a big dick who was just so golden retriever energy that when she beat him hard enough, he actually just, like, loved her so sweetly. That, like, what is this? What are we reading?
I don't know.
Do you agree? Like, what are we reading? What the fuck are we reading? Because, like, I feel fucking crazy. Because I'm reading these pages and I'm like, oh yeah, that's kind of sweet. That makes sense. And then I get to the end, I'm like, what the fuck was that? What actually happened? What the fuck?
I don't know, but there's something impressive about it, right? Because you do have moments where you're like...
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
You, like, buy into it. I don't even know why. I even like, when Richard says he wants Constance to train him and Denna goes absolutely apeshit on him, I'm kind of like, you deserve that. Like, why am I saying that?
I don't know.
Because I'm like, that's so fucked up. Like, she's your Mord-Sith.
She's your mate and your Mord-Sith.
But that, I thought
she's wearing the white leathers and you'd say that to her?
Literally, but then I'm like, I have to give Terry credit. That's incredibly impressive. That I literally was like, being like, oh my god, fuck you, Richard. That's so true.
Well, he handed you a rule set and then Richard broke it and you're like, fuck, what the fuck?
Well, no, because there's emotions tied into it,
absolutely,
right? Like,
yeah.
I'm like, yeah, of course you shouldn't do that to your torturer. What's wrong with you? It's so mean.
Did he even once think about how she was feeling about that?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, so I don't know, Terry, like, good job. You do write things in some unique fashion that gets my head all twisted up.
Yeah.
And also makes me have to forget the part where she's doing dubious sexual acts in front of children.
Yeah. Only one chapter ago.
Which, like, I feel like I don't feel that it was supposed to be, like, integrated in where when these things are happening with Denna, the intention is that with the wholeness of everything he gave me, I'm supposed to go, how do I feel about her? Like, when I really consider it all. I actually think he is kind of like, that was interesting in the moment because I needed a couple of things to happen, but, like, don't consider it when I need you to like her. Do not.
Yeah, I know.
Like, I don't actually think he's excited about the idea of having me engage with the totality of it.
No, definitely not.
Right.
Because a lot of this is dream.
I know. That is what it is.
Trending. Like, it's just like, follow the trend.
Literally.
I lit the fuse. You gotta go with the fuse.
Literally.
Don't look at the ash pile. It's fucking crazy. Don't look at it. It doesn't make sense. No, follow the trend.
The ash pile, it's just ash. You're only in the light zone. The light is the only thing that exists. And right now, this Denna, you don't think she would do that, right? And I'm like...
Exactly.
No, it doesn't feel like she would do that.
She would not. No, probably not. That would be kind of weird, right? Yeah, you look back, all the ashes are... There's a mild wind, it blew them all away. Yeah. You don't have to know how you got here, you just need to go... You're fucking riding towards that dynamite.
Is exactly what it feels like.
That's it. And he's good at it.
He is good at it.
And the impetus of the dynamite is a world-ending threat
Yeah.
And the thing that's getting you from the lighted match to the world-ending threat is keeping Richard and Caitlin apart. And that is every book. It is a stick of dynamite where X is chasing someone towards the explosion.
So, whoever, they don't have sex. Denna sleeps on the floor.
Yeah.
Richard sleeps in the bed.
Mm-hmm. I said that this was kind of sad. Because in a way, Denna cannot exist without power dynamics. There's no neutrality for her.
Yeah, right. It's not just like, oh, we'll both just sleep in the bed.
She needs to demand that he takes the nice things, and then she needs to, if she's putting him up, she needs to go down.
Somebody.
It's like there needs to be this.
Yeah.
There can't be level laying.
Yeah, but of course,
I know.
Right? Yeah.
And that's sad.
That tracks.
When that is logical. That makes sense. I'm happy about it.
No, I agree. That was the sort of stuff, like certain things like that I thought were actually pretty good. Liked that. That's an interesting, subtle, psychological tick to like give a Mord-Sith, right?
Yeah.
So good job on that. The next morning, Denna's all cleaned up. She's still wearing her white. They don't talk. They go to devotions. Constance is not there.
Yeah.
I wonder where she is. What could she be doing? Maybe we'll find out later. He goes towards the training room and Denna pulls him away and she tells him to walk. Although, like, look, she's starting to do little subtle things. She says, walk next to me. Mm-hmm. Right?
There
okay. And she wants to go on a walk.
But she's not, it's not like walk next to me, like, that'll be nice. It's like, she's like very like, stop walking behind me. Like, she's
well, that's the only way she ever fucking gets to engage with anybody. Either they're doing that to her or she's doing it to someone else.
It's there's
I guess, well, maybe not, because the Mord-Sith interact with each other a little bit neutrally.
Correct, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
They do.
Yeah, but then they're showing you what two Mord-Sith can do and blah, 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 yeah.
They have to go on a walk because her back hurts and walking helps her back.
We get a little jaunt through the Daharan halls.
Yeah, we get some information I thought was kind of interesting. I liked that there are so like the square they do their prayer in.
Yeah.
They have like there's
different skins for it.
Yeah, there's a bunch of them. Some have grass instead of sand.
Crazy.
Some have water with fish in it.
Wow.
I was intrigued by this. I wondered if they utilize different ones for like different intentions or something. Mm-hmm. People are everywhere. They're all like seem to be doing things, but nobody's really in a rush. There's some soldiers. Some people say hi to Denna. Nobody really do they know about the boxes of Warden and all
Probably
this
not.
drama? So they think life is just normal right now.
Yeah.
They don't know there's a light,
well, they know there's a war, and they know that Rawl
but they don't know, like, the world might be ending soon.
I don't think they know
or
that.
Or that he's taking over forever.
No, I think they know that I'm taking over the world soon. Like, I think that's what he told them, and they're like, oh, great, our king.
The palace is huge, and one hall has statues. Okay. Of naked people in proud poses.
Wait, I got some faith that they ain't falling.
The statues, you think that there were any hot tubs in this room? Do you think? I hope so. The statues were made of polished stone with some gold veining through it, and they're twice as tall as him. I think that Richard got his inspiration right here.
I think he definitely did.
Now.
Yeah.
And nowhere was dark, ugly, or dirty. Everything was beautiful. That's great.
It's like the Met, but it's ruled by magic pedo Hitler.
They end up in a big sprawling square with full-grown trees and mossy ground and a path of brown clay tiles.
Oh, fuck.
Anybody pick up that detail?
I didn't. I missed that shit twice. That's crazy.
That is Richard's fucking dream right there.
Holy shit. Trees and tiles?
Clay tiles?
No thatched roofs, because he doesn't know how to make those.
Who made that?
Clay tiles.
Clay tiles.
It was made for him.
By who?
That square. Well, I don't know. Maybe it's his Daharan blood. Who knows?
It's something like that.
Something's happening in this dreamscape mansion.
So Richard's admiring the trees, and Denna's like, you seem to like those, and asks why.
You like trees, don't you? Very much. Why?
It seems they are part of my past. I can dimly recall that I was a guide, a woods guide.
A guide of woods.
I think. But I don't remember much about it, Mistress Denna. Except I liked the woods. That's it.
That's it. Simple boy.
Yeah. And then she's like, yeah, being broken makes you forget the past. As we get further into it, you'll forget more.
You're going to lose even more. Don't worry about it.
He asks where they are. She says, the People's Palace, the seat of power in Jahara, the home of Master Rawl. That doesn't seem to, he doesn't seem to react to that, though.
Not really. He probably already figured that out, right?
I couldn't tell if it was because he already I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Or maybe he's just further drifting away here.
Yeah. They had lunch in a different, cafeteria than they usually go to, and he's allowed to sit in a chair. They do their afternoon devotion in a square with water instead of sand, so they're, at a new place. I assume this is all, Denna trying to avoid Constance, right?
I don't know. No, I kind of looked at it. I looked at
it
as a date almost. It was just kind of like let's just try something different. I don't know what to do with you.
Right. Maybe because she's having these new feelings. She's like, I don't want to do what we normally do because that was
she needs a break.
Richard, and a different me.
Yeah.
And Richard feels really good from walking around a lot. And then they go back to the room.
I did think that the going to a devotion place with water instead of sand was I was like, that's good symbolism.
I like that too. Yeah. It's pretty subtle.
It was subtle.
It makes sense on multiple levels. It makes sense why she's wants to do it in the first place, and then it kind of reflects the feelings they're going through. He does use a lot of tarot imagery.
He does.
He uses a lot of esoteric sort of not that often and not that in too complex of a way, but sometimes it's cool.
No, it's kind of literal, but it has a power.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They go back. He's put back into his rope contraption. He asks if her back is better. She's like, nothing I can't tolerate. She walks around him and stops in front of him and says, tell me you think I'm ugly.
Now we're at something interesting, right?
I don't know. Are we?
Kind of.
I get a little tired of Terry's characters caring so much about, they all seem very concerned with their looks and certain things in a way that feels really really, really, really immature and young. And I get that, I guess all of these characters are stunted. Kaylin is really stunted, so when she does it, okay. Denna is also really stunted, okay. But then, Shota does it, it's kind of why you?
You're 6,000 years old.
I don't know. I just think it's weird how often it happens.
I agree.
And again, it did really resonate with me as a teenager because you are so concerned with those things. It just does feel weird to me now as an adult being why was this so on your mind? You were an adult man.
Great question.
And you're not writing teenagers.
No, that would have made more sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's writing 31-year-olds who have the brains of teenagers, but
I don't know. It's just kind of odd how often it comes up. But anyway, what were you going to say?
I think it's interesting what you said because it is definitely immature. And it's also very from the male perspective of what's important.
It is, yeah.
And he gives women, I think, male motivations a lot. But I think he was still onto something. He just didn't investigate what the female equivalent of it should be.
What would it be?
I'm not sure. I would have to think more. But I think that...
Yeah, I don't know, Kaylin does it I can't remember exactly what, but I feel like she's always who's oh yeah, is Shota prettier than me and this, that. It's
yeah, why?
Y'all care about this a lot for adults.
You're an empress and she's a grand sorcerer.
I get it. They're stunted because of the roles they're in, but then also because of the roles they're in, these ladies have a lot to worry about and be concerned with that is not, do you think I'm pretty, Richard?
Yeah.
It's not even am I pretty all around? Just,
I know.
Does Richard think I'm pretty?
Yes.
It feels like a male fantasy to have these female characters so obsessed with his opinion about how pretty they are.
I agree. This doesn't feel like she's actually asking for an opinion. This feels like she is utterly unable to relax and have a genuine connection that isn't based on power dynamics. So she's almost going down into that icky feeling, fetishistic type thing of all right, be mean to me.
But she knows that she's objectively pretty, and I think she knows that if Richard is willing at this point, he's bought in enough to the relationship to be I will take all your pain for you. I think he'll say she's pretty.
Yeah, I agree. It didn't make sense for her. It made sense for her to want him to do it. That's what I'll say. Whether or not he will, and he doesn't, obviously.
Wait, but why does she want... Why would she want him to say she's ugly?
Because she feels ugly. And this is now me saying that this makes sense as a male-brained idea of what a woman would find humiliating. I think that this is her twisted version of a self-conception as thought up by Terry, the man, not as what Denna would probably be thinking about. But she does not feel good, which makes sense logically. She is not good in her soul because of what she does and what was done to her.
Yeah.
So that has created a lot of cascades of problems. Richard makes her feel like maybe I want to get in touch with that little thing again. And it's like all the walls in the way of feeling of like self-loathing are there.
Yeah.
So this is one of them. And I think she's saying, I spent the whole day being nice to him. And that feels wrong because of how fucked up she is. Right. So she's like, be mean to me. That's the only way. I'm like not comfortable right now.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. It's weird to look for it from Richard when you're like, out of everyone in the whole People's Palace, he's the last person.
You could have found anyone on the... Well, no, I don't know. People aren't going to say that to a Mord-Sith, probably.
Constance probably would. Honestly, go ask her. I get why this can make sense. It's just weird that he uses... He always puts the, like, am I pretty question in a scenario where, like, you're like, I can obviously logic out why this is happening. But it's just a weird mechanism to keep using.
Oh, yeah. I totally agree with that. Yeah.
It's just, like, bottom of the barrel. Like, he could have anything where Denna's asking Richard essentially to be mean to her right now, and it could literally be anything. It doesn't always have to be... It doesn't have to be,
physical
am I pretty?
Yeah, I know.
And I think that would be really impactful if you had, like, a character do it that you were like, this character is uniquely attached to beauty and looks.
Sure, yes, there's a lot of ways you could have done it subtly.
It's just weird that you're like, every version of a woman in this world cares about that.
That's why it's stupid. But as an inverted mirror... Kaylin being like, do you think she's prettier than me, is looking to be told she's pretty. I think she is literally asking Richard to tell her she's ugly. And that's the inverse. She's not saying, am I pretty? She's saying, tell me I'm ugly. Right? That's the...
Yeah, she says, tell me you think I'm
Tell
ugly.
me you think I'm ugly, which is a different thing. It's a different request.
Yeah, but I do think
it's stupid.
Part of her is like...
No, I don't think so.
No, I think that some part of her is like, what's he going to do? I feel like she's testing the limits of Richard's. Like, she's so interested in, like, the relationship he's having to her that's different than everyone else. Like, she's kind of like, if I asked one of my other mates to do this, they would have just done it, right? Because they would have just been like, yeah, okay, you want me to... I do what you tell me. She's kind of, like, curious, like, because I feel like Denna knows he doesn't think that. So she's curious, is he so bought in that he won't do it?
So now here's my question to you, right? Because how does Richard respond?
No, that would be a lie. Truth King.
So is Richard just... not knowing how to feel.
That's true.
And just blindly stating things that Denna tells him to do?
Right.
Or is Richard fucking thinking for himself?
That's true.
Question mark, question mark, question mark.
Right.
Huh. He had the wherewithal to literally go against her wishes right now.
Right.
Because she is beautiful. That braid. Be tight.
No
and you're going to tell me there's no manipulation going on.
I don't know. That is kind of weird, right?
It is kind of weird.
Because by the logic of, like, he's just a total dumbass and he just does whatever she wants and he's just being really literal. Richard can't think for himself, which was my defense of his actions earlier. He shouldn't really be able to say that then.
Correct.
And honestly, it's kind of weird because you're like, oh, okay, that would be a lie. And you're like, but, like, you've agreed essentially to, like, be a big old liar in a lot of ways for the entirety of this Mord-Sith experience, which makes sense, and why you locked yourself away.
I thought it was locked away.
But then, like, why is this a lie you can't tell?
He got to go on a nice lunch outing in a tree, so now he gained his soul
See,
back.
like, I get what you're saying. Like, I think you're right. There's probably that part of her being like, I'm self-punishing. Tell me you think I'm ugly, blah, blah, blah. But I also think you could read it, like, out of the, like, she's just like, what's his deal? Like, how in it is he? How much does he care about me? But yeah, so I think that could be part of it. I don't know. So she gives him a sad smile and says, that was a mistake, my love. You have disobeyed my direct order and have forgotten the appellation. I know, Mistress Denna. She says, you are nothing but trouble. I don't know why Master All burdened me with your training. You have earned yourself 2 hours, so I don't know.
They're doing a weird thing. I don't know.
You're like, she's so burdened by the fact that Richard is such a great, amazing guy. He won't even tell her she's ugly. That she's like, oh, that's harder for me to deal with than just breaking somebody who's not a good guy. Again, I do find the conflation of giving into this versus fighting back, one being good and the other being bad, is just, it's a little weird. But what I can accept is that due to the way Richard is engaging with the experience, it is making it so that they are capable of connecting, and connection makes this very difficult for Denna. Although when you hear what she had to do to become a Mord-Sith, you're kind of like, would that still be online, man?
I don't think so.
I don't know.
I don't think so. But that's always been our problem with it.
Yeah. So they do their 2 hours of training. It's not as hard as she would normally go, and she says she wants to sleep on the floor again. So then they go back to their normal routine. The training is generally less intense, except when Constance joins them. Denna is giving Constance more direction in terms of like how to engage with Richard, and Constance doesn't like that. Anytime that Constance is too rough with Richard, she's not invited to the next training session. How long?
So these are a couple of days, right? This is like another week.
But like altogether, this is like a long time, and like he is getting so close. I'm just really bothered by Dark and Raw not
by
caring.
the end of the chapter, we know that it's happening tomorrow. We know we're there. We're on death's door. And Dark and Raw's like, Dark and Raw is edging the world. That's what he's doing right now.
No, the world doesn't even know it's being
Blonde
edged.
King. The world knows. The world
you mean
feels
like
it. The earth feels.
You didn't mean the future.
Orden's got the balls of Orden. He's just grabbing those testicle ball boxes, and he's saying, which one of you, you know?
Is gonna burst.
But he's like, not till winter.
It's gonna be the...
Raw hasn't come for like a year.
Probably not. He probably does do semen retention. He seems like he would be that guy.
I don't want to think about it, but
he totally does.
You're so right.
Right?
Yeah.
He is such a semen retention kind of guy.
Day 40, it's like, I feel like new powers spreading.
That's how he got
Wait, but it might be real for him.
Right, I know. It seems like maybe it worked.
For him, it might be real.
I could see it so, yeah. So
I have to eat kids' testicles to go to the underworld. Dude, can you just jerk off or something? Like, please. Wait, I gotta open these boxes early. I don't even have the third one. I'm opening it.
The semen retention is going into his brain. The cum's drown in his brain.
Cum spinal fluid or something. I don't know.
What?
That was a CSF joke, but it just didn't sound good.
What's CFF? Oh, cerebral.
Spinal fluid, yeah. It's cum spinal fluid.
Okay, I want to keep going.
Yep.
So, whatever. The lighter trainings, Richard's memories are starting to come back a little bit. They keep going on their little walks, and he sees astonishingly beautiful places. After one devotion in the afternoon, Constance asks to join. She is rougher than usual. Richard hopes Denna is going to stop it, but just as she's about to, a man comes in, and he tells Denna that Master Rahl wants to see her immediately.
Wow.
So she's like, okay, I gotta go talk to Master Rahl. She asks Constance to finish the session, which seems crazy, right? Wouldn't you be like, Constance, bring him back because I don't trust your ass.
These Mord-Sith act like
indication that Constance is not still on her bullshit.
We know she's on her bullshit. All week you've been telling her to chill it out. So the Mord-Sith act like there's like a schedule.
I know.
No, I said 2 hours. It must be 2 hours
we've
long.
We've been given no precedent that like they have to abide by these things. In fact, I think we've been shown that like she could do whatever she wants. His time's nearly up. Just take him back to my quarters and leave him there. I'm sure I won't be long. I don't know why you think that. Based on what? Lots of important things are happening. And Constance says, my pleasure, you can count on me. Denna leaves and Constance immediately unbuckles Richard's pants. And you're like, what? Oh, right away.
She's been fucking dying for this.
Denna comes back in the room and says, see, I guess she did a little fake out.
Yeah, she did.
And she comes in and she says, I don't want you doing that.
Motherfucker, I knew you were going to do that.
Yeah. Constance says, well, in your absence, I'm in charge of him and I can do as I wish, which is like...
Why? Why do you need to do this so bad?
I don't know.
And it feels extremely pathetic.
Okay.
For her to be so jealous that she's got to get up in that ass and balls immediately.
Well, I think she is supposed to be pathetic, like pathetically obsessed with Denna, because it's her only... First of all, she can only have connection with other Mord-Sith and women, right? Like, she just can't find it elsewhere. So, and Denna's her favorite person, because Denna did that big thing for her.
But do we respect the mate thing at all?
Well, Constance doesn't. It seems like some Mord-Sith do and some do not.
Is it not cultural? Like,
I know,
even if Constance doesn't want one,
you're
shouldn't
right.
she have to respect the concept?
I don't know. It's confusing.
It's like, that's my mate. I fuck him. Don't cut his dick off right now.
I don't know how the Mord-Sith like power structure works. Can you just fuck each other over? Is that not allowed? Like, what?
I don't know. I would like to know, but I don't think we ever get that.
And I am confused by like by Denna saying like me and Constance, we would do anything for each other. We are set up to believe that their relationship previously has been one of like utter devotion.
Yeah.
And so am I just supposed to think like just the idea that Constance is so upset about Denna fucking a guy has just completely obliterated that
which she's done before,
apparently, for each other?
Yeah. And then especially what we're about to find out that
That's what
fucking
I mean.
Denna went through for your ass.
It just seems so
Bitch, sit
weird.
down. Stop grabbing his balls. Just stop for 5 minutes.
But, you know, of course, she's just ugly, so she's bad. Like, the end.
That's what it's feeling like. I don't know.
Dennis says, he's my mate. I said I don't want you to do that. And I don't want you to put the angel in his ear either.
Damn.
And then Constance goes to say, I do as I wish. And then, but Denna cuts her off and says, you will not. And then she goes on another rant. I am the one who took the punishment when we killed Rastin. Me. Not you and me. Only me. I have never made a point of it before, but I do now. You do not know what they did to me, and I never told them you had a part in it. He is my mate. I'm his Mord-Sith, not you. Me. You'll respect my wishes, or there's going to be trouble between us. Yeah, so, like, evoking the Rastin murder
plot
is intense. And, I mean, like, she's making a valid point of, like, can you just do this basic thing for me?
Especially, now, she's on her way to Dark and Raw. So that's a heavy threat already, right?
Yeah.
Because she could just drop some info, and then Constance, your ass is getting thrown in the Hague.
True.
Like,
right, potentially. Yeah, and I like want to know what the dynamic is. Like, Mistress Denna seems like way more favored by Dark and Raw, right?
yes.
So I'm kind of like, I feel like, yeah, the power dynamic here. Like, Constance should be very afraid of Denna and Dark and Raw and Denna together. Like, I don't know.
I think everyone's afraid of Dark and Raw, and you're only as powerful as you are useful to Dark and Raw. So it's like if Denna starts slipping on her duties, now Constance
okay, but Denna's slipping on her duties.
is doing her God-given right to mate her chosen...
Also, no, it's just being like, don't murder the guy who needs to give Dark and Raw information.
We're going tomorrow.
Just why couldn't he just make the thing that Denna was doing unrelated to that. It makes the plot point make no sense when it could have made sense.
I agree.
It could have made sense
to
me. Denna could have been fucking up in a variety of ways.
Yeah.
Honestly, unless the mate thing ends up being really interesting and, I don't know, means something long term, all you had to do was make it so that they didn't... Mating is not a concept. Actually, you're not supposed to fuck these guys.
And she was anyway.
And then she was doing it anyway, and that could have been a big problem.
It would have been a big problem, but it also would have been a little silly that's like, oh, the Seeker just couldn't...
We're doing that anyway.
But it's allowed now, and there's precedent. If it was Sith...
I'm saying we're doing the Seeker is the most unique, beautiful baby boy.
Yeah, but it's for his baby boy soul, and not just like, there's something irresistible
That's
about
more
this man
fun.
and his cock.
I'd rather that, personally.
Yeah, well...
I'll accept that. He's really hot. I'll buy it.
Truth, yeah.
So then Constance says, all right, Denna, all right. I'll mind your wishes. And then she's...
So, that was Wicked Witch coded. All right, Denna, I'll mind your wishes. That's a pirate. That's a pirate.
Okay, so Constance is mostly normal for the rest of the session. She brings him back to Denna's room. But then she puts her face up against his and grabs between his legs and says, take good care of this for me. You aren't going to have it much longer. I have reason to believe Master All will shortly be reassigning you to me. And when he does, I'm going to alter your anatomy. And I don't think you're going to like it. Well, no. You might not.
No. But that's when that second magic comes the fuck out, probably.
Oh, for sure.
You can't cut his dick off.
No, he definitely
But that would be my rule number. If I'm a crazy dictator employing hot doms.
Yeah.
Cutting the guy's dick off is probably the first thing I'm going to do.
The first thing?
Yeah, if they're literally like, you're going to torture them until death, that's like the goal, right?
Yeah.
I want to break them.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, take their dick off. I don't know.
Well, no, because I think a lot of the devotion...
Well, yeah, you're right. The horny...
Vis-a-vis our conversation about how beautiful they are.
They need those...
They need to be attracted to them, I think.
You're right. We should put them in a little cage. That's what we should do. We should wrap them up, and we should put rubber bands around their balls. Okay. So that they get really tight.
People do that?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
It's not good.
I don't like that.
No. And then they take them off, and then they...
I really never hearing about that. The cages, yes.
I have no defense. I don't know.
The rubber bands.
You never heard of that?
Not quite.
Never heard of that one? It's pretty common. What do you mean you never heard of that? It's certainly out there. What do you mean? You never seen that? You never seen the ball bandings?
No, does that have a name?
No, I don't know.
God.
I've just seen too many things.
Well, so have I, and somehow not that.
Yeah. I'm not pulling it up right now.
No, what the fuck? We're not watching porn right now. We are reading it. We're not about to watch.
Seeker and Confessor After Dark. Let's go.
Just us watching porn.
Yeah, us watching it, you not seeing it, but us commentating on it. That's it.
That could be good. Actually.
That could be good. That could be fun at least.
We make it OnlyFans, but it's not anything.
It's not us. We're just discussing
us watching
porn,
like in a really somewhat bored fashion.
Can we move on? Can you help me here? Can you get me off of this? Please.
So,
fuck.
Anyway, I don't know. She says she's gonna chop off his dick.
Yeah, she does.
So then we get the little drop here, like she's like, oh, Master All's gonna give you to me, and like whatever, maybe he will after he gets his info, because like what does he care at that point? At that
point, we're all gloriously ascending. At that point,
okay,
we're just, like at that point, everyone's brain is just belonging to Dr. Rawl. I'm sure he's got a PhD, right?
He might.
Dr. Rawl.
If he figured out how to go to the underworld, I think you get an honorary PhD for that.
Yeah, from like Chthonic University.
But then you get canceled when they find out that it involved eating boys' testicles.
They don't have to.
And then they retract the PhD.
Wow.
Yeah.
That it's just PH. I'm like so over the edge right now. I've been crashing for like a full hour. All right.
Okay. So, anyway, she leaves. Constance leaves Richard with that threat. He's all tied up in the room. And then he's really upset because, like, dinner comes and goes, devotions come and go, the sun sets. It's really late at night, and Denna isn't back yet.
I like the devotion bell ringing. And then he's like, oh, I need to go. Oh, but I can't because I'm tied up. Should I say it? No one's going to hear me. And then he just stands there. I'm like, we got all that for no reason, but this is like the first time that I was like, his like need to list everything out. I was like, that was actually kind of funny. I don't know.
Denna comes in finally. Her head is bowed. Her posture is stiff.
What about her hair?
What about her hair? Undone.
No! Beautiful Mistress Denna's brain is disheveled. It's rude.
It's a bad sign. I already told you guys. Clean and tidy braids, good. Disheveled braids, bad.
Something bad's happening.
Yes. And she's been crying.
Oh, she's just a girl.
Yeah, exactly.
She's just a girl.
She quietly asks Richard, she's just a girl, but Constance, not just a girl. Princess Violet, not just a girl.
No.
She quietly asks Richard to fill her bath because she feels dirty right now. And he fills up the tub the fastest he's ever done it in his life. And she asks
Time!
him to help her
27 seconds.
take off her leathers. As he does, he realizes, oh my god, she's like covered in welts and bruises and she's bleeding and her skin is like peeling off. And Richard is aching with the hurt of her. And he feels the power well up. So once again, it is connected to love? Question mark?
How to make a golden retriever boyfriend in 28 steps. Step 1. Invent magic paint stick. Wait, I actually don't know where this... I wrote this whole joke out, and I don't know if it makes sense now, so we're going to cut that.
No, now you have to do it, whole thing.
Step 2 is build pyramid, and that's all I wrote.
Build pyramid? What does that mean? Who built a pyramid?
Because, like, the People's Palace. Like, it's so easy to get one. You just need to do all these things. I don't know. It was a reference to him going to get the water so fast.
Built pyramid.
I don't know. I wrote that on a double at, like, 10:45 p.m., I think.
Step 1, what is
Step 1, invent magic paint stick. Step 2, build pyramid.
I don't even, like...
No. It wasn't as funny as I thought.
Well, I love that you started the joke anyway. Like here, today.
Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes I riff really well when I like start reading, and then that wasn't it.
Okay. He says, "Who did this to you?" And she says, "Master All, it is nothing I didn't deserve." And she gets in the tub, and Richard asks why Dr. All did that. And she says,
this is manipulative again, but it's all right. Every question he asks is just like, making her say, why would he do that to you, though? Is it right to... keep going,
okay.
Keep going, yeah.
She says, Constance told him I was being too easy on you. I deserve what was done to me. I have been lax in your training. I am Mord-Sith. I should have done better. I received only that which I deserve. And he says, you do not deserve this, Mistress Denna. It is me who should have taken the punishment, not you. Okay. So
keep going.
Well, what starts to like happen here is that you really do start to feel, at the very least, Denna's not a hypocrite, right?
Sure.
She does abide this whole system. And when she's the Richard, she also, like, what she expects of Richard, she gives to the people who are in charge of her.
Yes.
Right? Which does make a character more likable, because, like, I feel like Dark and Rahl, part of what makes him so detestable is that he would never do what he doles out.
Correct.
And Denna does, right?
Yes.
So that's part of her likability. Perhaps the likability of the Mord-Sith at large. I don't know, I guess, except Constance. So she tells him Master Rahl will see him tomorrow and says, I'm sorry, you will answer his questions. And Richard says, yes, Mistress Denna. And he helps her dry off and helps her go lay in bed. She says, I've had much worse than this done to me. This was only a small reminder of who I am, but still, I can't stop shaking. So she's like laying on her stomach. Richard asks if she still has his pack that he had with him. And she's like, yeah, it's in the cabinet. And there's a little foreshadowing drop here. He goes into the cabinet and he finds his pack and he's going through it. And what he finds is beneath a carved bone whistle.
Oh, yes.
On a leather thong. So we're like, oh, the whistle's still here and will be useful.
Yep.
Probably tomorrow. And he finds his little bag of healing tools. He asks if he can use a cream she has, like a lotion. And he takes out his alm leaves and his other herbs that he can't remember the name of. And he mixes it all together to make his little pain salve. He tells her to lie still, and then she kind of chastises him and is like, the appellation, Richard, the appellation, will you never learn? And he says, sorry, Mr. Denna. Then he smiled. You may punish me later. For now, lie still. When I'm done, you will feel well enough to punish me all night. I promise. Is this what you think is manipulative?
All of it. When she's getting in the bath. And, like, he's like, oh, do you want to sit?
Yeah.
She's like, that's, like, the last thing I want to do right now. Yeah. She was definitely raped, right? Like...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, her saying, I feel dirty, I want to get in the
Of course,
tub.
yeah. But that... I was like, oh, that's kind of... Like, I don't know. There's, like, all these little things where she's like... He, like, hurt her really bad. You know? Like, it's not like... Yeah. It's fine. Fuck this guy, you know? Another thing, though, about it, I think is interesting. So, Constance... She's very, like, bull-like, right? Yeah, like, her pain is it's unmeasured. It's just hitting constantly the same intensity. Denna has this, like, flirty kind of, like... She's trying to, like, connect through her pain.
Yeah.
Dark and Rawl is the exact opposite.
That's true, yeah.
He is just trying to, like, humiliate and harm.
Right.
Where...
Yeah, there's no energy interplay the way
yes,
that
and now we're really in the weeds of like these are all atrocious acts because no one's consenting to any of this.
Right.
But you kind of can rank them a little
if you want. Sure.
And it makes Denna feel a little better.
Right, but it is an odd
which is weird.
Endeavor.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Like, hey guys, how about we like start let's start thinking about ranking it. And it does kind of feel like that's what I'm being asked to do a little bit. At least somewhat.
You kind of have to. You're like, all right, well, they're all evil. But what evil do I prefer?
But maybe that's interesting.
Maybe. I'm not, I'm not sure.
Like, maybe it's interesting. But, like, by virtue of me saying that, I have to, like, ignore how incoherent so much of the morality is. And it's incoherent in a way that's just, like, crazy and goes way beyond, like... let's just start, like, exploring are some more palatable to people than others.
Yes.
That is interesting, but, like...
It could be. But the system, it's, like, almost unreconcilable with, like, all the things he doesn't care to, like, bring up, exactly. You know? Like...
I guess, like, if it was, like, just... Say, like, Demon didn't exist, Princess Violet and Queen Milena didn't exist. Like, say we just had Dark and Rawl at the top and then the Mord-Sith.
And, like, a tree of Mord-Sith.
Yeah, we were, like, just kind of, like... And then, like, maybe Michael... I don't know how to work with that one.
I don't know either.
I don't know. If we were, like, just kind of playing in there as the evil... people to like be comparing and contrasting, I think I would have less issue with it.
Probably true.
I don't know. So then he like puts the pain lotion on her, and I just didn't like her reaction to it. Like the pain is gone. How did you do that? How did you make the pain leave?
No.
That sounds like Rachel said that. And even that's a stretch.
I literally thought that.
Right?
I was like, what is this, Rachel? Like, yeah, I don't know. What?
I don't know. Like, I guess...
He can barely remember being a woods guide, but he remembers the proper ratios to make this, like, druid paste. Like...
and he made it perfect.
Perfect, yeah, absolutely.
Whatever, I'm so happy it doesn't hurt anymore. And then... What?
I'm sorry, I'm just gonna...
What?
Laughing at what I wrote.
What did you write?
The pain is gone. How did you do that? How did you make the pain leave? Ugh, 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 ugh. I am good writer. Sorry.
So then she gently touches his face, all because of this fucking lotion. You are a very rare person. The spirits take me. I have never seen a person like you before. I killed the one who did the things to me that I have done to you, and instead you helped me. Okay, first of all, in like 3 seconds you're about to tell us how what they did to you, which was not in any way like what you did to Richard.
Did you do that to Richard?
You did not do that to Richard. So give it a rest.
Pause.
Okay, yeah. Chill out. You did no. These are not. You even like. I feel like she's like says it right then. Like you have no idea what I was through. Like yeah. So you killed them because they did way worse things.
Wait,
to
did you bring his dad in here and then make him your pet in front of Richard and then kill him and then bring Richard's mom in here and then force Richard to train his own mother and then kill her? Did that happen and then he still loved you? No.
So like why are you comparing these things? It's not a good comparison. It makes no fucking sense.
You would very distinctly know the difference between once, twice, and thrice broken. Like you would be you've only been once broken.
So of course you are.
And at this level, being nice to your mistress is not weird.
But at this point, like, fact that Denna was willing to do those things once broken. So, like, she got broken once, which is where the level Richard's at. And then she said, at this level of being broken, I'm going to kill and torture my parents. But so that's where I'm at, where I will do that. But the idea of Richard being like, oh, I'm sad that things hurt you. You're like, I can't conceive of it. I can't conceive of it.
How is he so kind? He's simply so kind.
You were so broken that you were like, oh, killing my parents.
That's what I don't get. There's
what, this is so minute in comparison to that.
You would have been. This is like drowning in a puddle to you,
literally.
Versus like the ocean of like insane shit you went through.
I don't get why are we acting like this is crazy?
He's in the first 2 inches of water right now, and he's being really nice. You were probably really nice here too. You probably would have done anything Rasan or Rajan or whatever the fuck his name, Rastin would have told you to do when you were in here before they pulled your parents into the room.
Well, she's claiming she wouldn't have.
I don't buy it. You were probably very broken, and then all of a sudden, once your parents became a problem.
No, but do you get what I mean? If you are that level of broken, and that level of broken gets you to, okay, you need me to kill my parents, then that level of broken will definitely get you to, I don't want you to be in pain. Because that one's much easier for me to conceptualize.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't get it. It's just like major Stockholm syndrome. It's just like really bad Stockholm syndrome. Where the other one is like something absurd.
People kidnapped for a weekend without getting tortured. This is gonna cause it. Dahara syndrome.
This is once again another instance of when Denna tells Richard what happened to her, where she's replying to something with an answer that you're like, why are you saying this now? It has nothing to do with what he just said.
Yes.
But so yeah, she's, the spirits, God, spirits, I can't believe this man. And then he says, well, and then she's like, I killed the guy who did this to me. Lies.
Not the same.
I'm Addie right now, but you're helping me. And then he just says, well, we can all be who we are. No more and no less, Mr. Senna, which seems like the douchiest reply.
A bitch ass thing ever. To say.
Are you serious? So he's literally just being like, well, yeah, I just can't help it that I'm so good. And you can't help it that you murdered him. I don't know. Ew.
I'm just better. Richard said build different.
Sorry, I respect the fact that Denna said, nah, and killed this man, as she should.
And they let her be a Mord-Sith anyway. None of this makes sense. Keep going.
Oh, whatever. And he says, I don't like what Master has done to you. So after, I don't like what Master has done to you, you don't understand about the Mord-Sith, my love. I don't know that this is when she would tell him this, but whatever.
No.
We are carefully selected as young girls. Those chosen to be the Mord-Sith are the most gentle, the most kind-hearted that can be found. It is said that the deepest cruelty comes from the deepest caring. you can say that.
You can say
it's a thought.
It is a thought, and you haven't proven it at all.
It's a thought. I don't know if it's real, but it's a thought.
They say it.
They definitely are saying it.
Someone said it.
All of Dahara is searched, and each year only about half a dozen are chosen. So there goes our fucking theory that we were like, surely they must get hundreds of girls and like 3 come out working well.
Nah, 6
and
a
not
year.
6 a year, and they probably all become Mord-Sith. That's cool.
Yep.
A Mord-Sith is broken 3 times. The first is the way I broke you, to break the spirit. The second is to break our empathy. To do it, we must watch our trainer break our mother and make her his pet, and watch him hurt her until she dies. I am like not happy about it at all, but I'm okay with it up until the third one. That one really...
That seems like the logical next escalation.
That one is crazy.
Yeah, of course it is. It's absolutely crazy.
Okay, but it's like crazy to the point that I'm like, once again, like, these women don't speak.
These are
you know what I mean? Like, I just like these women.
These are mute magic like assassins. That's all they could be.
Yeah, that would have been more interesting. Actually,
listen, I'm working
in
on
a way.
it, but...
Like you know what I mean? Like, yeah. I don't know. The third...
They're not just chilling and, like, hanging out in court and being normal. They're gonna be, like fucking, like, no neck, like, just, like, all the time.
And
like,
they're all hot.
And they're just like, ha-ha, big swing in their braid, wearing heels, changing into, like, fun little leathers for, like, different occasions.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is the woman who broke...
Let me say it.
Go ahead.
The third is to break us of our fear of hurting another, to make us enjoy giving pain. Why would this make you... Okay, I'll buy it would make you stop fearing hurting another person.
Yeah.
Because this is the worst version of doing it.
Sure.
Therefore, everybody else is going to feel like, who fucking cares?
Yep.
Why will this make you enjoy it?
Because the point is that they make you do it until you enjoy it.
But what if you don't?
They keep going.
There is are we accepting that there are people that you could put in this scenario who will never enjoy it, right?
Well,
like,
yeah,
why do they all end up enjoying it? Or a lot of them. I think most human beings, you pluck even the nicest, maybe especially the nicest.
Well,
if you pluck them out and do this to them, they might not be able to get to a point where they enjoy it. Okay, anyway.
Yeah, I would agree.
To do it, we must break our fathers under the guidance of our trainer and make him our pet and keep hurting him until we kill him. My problem is even less in the pet, because the pet thing, I would have like less weird response to it if it was like turn him into our like some entity that is not like, if it was about just breaking them into like nothingness, where you're just like an animal, you're just like a nothing human, you're garbage, you're trash. I can understand that. Pet implies I have some weird level of like sexual affection for you. Not because you do towards pets. But like, you get what I... No, come on.
Yeah, no,
if
I know. No, it's a
a
sexual pet. It's not...
Yeah, like if you're calling a human
not...
a pet, it means that there's this like... Yes, you're like subservient to me, but also I kind of treat you with this like doting, mistressy kindness that just has very, very, very much... a sexual undertone, because even the way that Mistress we see her constantly referring to Richard as my pet and this and that, and it always has that with it.
My question now, why did we separate the mom and the dad in the way that we did? Why did you watch the mom get tortured?
Why not?
Why didn't you have to make her your pet too?
Because I don't think the point is the second step to get you to the third. It's like she couldn't do it at the second level.
Okay.
By watching it happen and going through that process, she gets fucked up enough to go to the doing it level. You know what I mean?
Yeah, these people are not acting like this. This is crazy.
I don't get, like, I am kind of like, I'm sorry, there is just a sexual connotation to the whole, them doing it to the dad.
It's not just
thing.
a connotation. It's text. Yeah, it's.
So what, again, because we have so many edible.
So it's Oedipal, it's Electra, and it's Freudian.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. Like, well, yeah.
Well, he came up with those, right? Yeah. So, but
I'm saying, we have already presented so many Oedipal complexes for Richard that now to introduce this, like a blatantly like sexual, like I force daughters to sexualize their father's dynamic. You're like, okay, so they're doing it too.
Yeah.
What's the theme? What is it? What is it?
Forcing daughters to sexualize their fathers is the theme.
But Richard's, also sort of like...
Yeah, sexualizing, his mother.
Yeah, but like in a more like innocent way, obviously, and like not quite so... He's not doing it in such a straightforward manner.
Yeah.
Although we get close. Shona being his mom was really... And then him being horny about her immediately after.
Yeah.
It's pretty fucking close. But this is just like, and...
Well, this is explicit now.
Yeah.
And we're getting out of the, I don't know, the like metaphorical.
That's what I'm saying.
And into
so I'm
the
like,
literal.
Okay.
So maybe Terry's making a commentary on like, this is when it becomes evil. It's like kind of normal until...
Oh,
but
I didn't need anyone to tell me that.
No one needed that.
Oh, thank you so much. I was wondering if that was the line, but
do you
now...
think they know that doing this to their dads is bad?
He's not. That can't be what it was.
I'm going to teach them.
I don't think he was like...
Little girls are always doing this to their fathers.
Maybe they don't know. What's up with the theme?
I don't know.
What's up with the theme of children fucking their opposite gender parent? Or like having sexual feelings.
I don't know.
And behaviors towards their opposite gender.
I don't
parent.
know.
What does that mean?
Like, if you're not a good adult, you're a child rapist.
Right,
and
then
all
on
children
top of
are
it,
now raping
right,
their parents. Or
I don't know.
Can we stop doing this?
The children seem to have all these psychosexual things going on with the parents, but then the world is also filled with adults who want to fuck children. And that is bad. And then the kids wanting to fuck the parents is a mixed bag. I don't know what that's about. I don't know. What's it all about? Why are all of those things happening?
This is the sort of red flags at this point.
I'm confused.
I'm crimson. Like, what is happening? None of these things on their own are bad to explore within fiction.
But they're all weird.
Compiling all of them is like, okay... This book should have a disclaimer on it, I feel like.
It's very strange. Some part of me does just want to reach for, like, the easy answer when it comes to this, though, where I'm like, I think he just wanted to be, like, make it really bad.
I think so, too.
Right?
Yeah,
and
he does.
That's it.
And he doesn't think about how fucked up that would make somebody, I think. He's just like, it'll hit. And it's like, yeah, it hit, but now I have questions.
But it's just like the thing we were saying about the, like, little... fire on the dynamite.
Oh yeah,
thing.
you're just following the dynamite.
Where it's like he just wants us in that little light,
that
moment to go, whoa, and then as we continue, we go, it's Ash now.
It's Ash.
It didn't actually.
Yeah.
He didn't actually intend for it to have any impact on what's coming up.
That's true. I think so.
Or what came before it. Like it just was a thing for me to go, oh my god, in the moment and call it a day.
But you're telling me that this woman was broken, had her mom broken and killed, and then broke her dad and killed him. And Richard, within a month, is going to make her, like, question throwing all this away.
That's what I'm saying. That's stupid. And then it's on top of it, her comparing what Richard went through to this is ridiculous.
It's so stupid. Yeah, he's hyper-inflating, I did this to my protagonist. That's really intense for me, the author. So it's equivalent to this insano mode volcanic level scenario.
It's really not comparable.
No.
So Richard's crying.
Oh my god.
He said, they did all this to you? What I did to break you is nothing compared to what must be done to break us the second and third time. Yeah, girl, I know. That's why it's not weird that you killed Rastin and that he's nice.
And he's nice. Yeah.
The more kind-hearted a girl is, the better Mord-Sith she makes, but it makes it harder to break her the second and third time.
Yep.
Master All thinks me special because they had a very difficult time with the second breaking of me. My mother lived a long time to try to keep me from giving up hope, and that only made it harder on both of us. They failed at the third breaking and had given up and were going to kill me, but Master All said that if I could be broken, I would become someone special, and so took over my training himself. He is the one who broke me the third time. On the day I killed my father, he took me to his bed as a reward. His reward left me barren.
So, once again, Master Rawl teaches, Master Rawl guide us. I love Master Rawl. Why are you saying the word barren with such vitriol right
So
now
true.
to Richard?
That
doesn't really
it's
feel...
her true feelings, and Richard, being such a special boy, brings out all her emotions now.
She shouldn't be saying these things. I don't really think she loves Dark and Rawl all that much.
No, she
right
doesn't,
now.
and neither does Constance, and nobody really does. But
you're either literally nonverbal,
yeah, or you
love Dark and
I
Rawl
know.
so fucking much.
It really is you're either nonverbal or there. And what I would need to see is beyond just like, they broke me by doing XYZ. I need to also see the belief system that gets put in the place of that insanity.
Yes.
When your brain is all jumbled the fuck up, I need to see what it is. And it can't just be that one little chant, okay? I need to see what...
No, he cooks so hard.
What your, like, belief, this, like, real big belief of, like, that was all worth it because my mission in the fucking universe is...
Yep.
What?
X. Yep.
I need to know what it is.
Yep.
What was it? And it can't just be Dark and Raw. Well, why? Why?
I know.
I need to know what... I think you could convince me.
Maybe.
You could.
It would be hard work, though. Yeah.
You just didn't even kind of attempt to do it.
No.
You just said, well, they did that stuff to me and now I'm devoted. And cool. Too.
As well.
I'm also cool and hot and devoted. I don't know. Maybe. Richard says, I don't want anyone hurting you. She says, it's an honor that Master All would spare the time to punish one as low as me with my own angel. And Richard says he hopes Master All kills him tomorrow so he doesn't have to go through the pain of learning any more about this.
I don't know. Like, I didn't like it, but I kind of like that. She's like such a, like...
So dramatic.
I'm so fucking done. Like...
I mean,
he better
honestly,
fucking shoot me
how
tomorrow.
I feel hearing about. Yeah, you're like, you know what? I don't want to hear any more of this shit.
Chapter
Kill me
42
now.
is like chapter 43. Better start with like a dagger that just slides into my chest because I'm done.
I have done things to hurt you that I have done to no other. Yet you are the first person since I was chosen who has done anything to stop my pain.
Faces. That's it. That's exactly how it felt.
That's how that felt. To
Oh
me.
my god.
You know, once again, like, we're going back and forth. Oh my god, how could you do like, how could you be such a better person than me? But also, you have no idea what I've been through. But also, you're the only person who ever made magic pain lotion for me.
Yep. No one else ever did that. Crazy.
Okay. She offers to put the pain lotion on him because he has his welts and whatever. And you're like, there is something about it that's sweet, right?
And she's like, let me see where she went. I know she went there. Like,
Did she
about
say?
Constance.
Oh, I don't remember. What did she say?
Because she's like, there's a little bit left. Let me put it on your wounds. And she's like, let me put it where I know Constance went. Like,
she says that?
Yeah. She like, I think like puts it on his dick or something like that. But
Maybe.
100%.
I don't have no memory of this.
Do you want it?
I guess.
No, I took it as his butt and penis.
No, she didn't do it.
She did grab his balls pretty hard.
Okay. I don't know if he needed pain salve for that.
No, but he probably wanted it.
It wasn't like rubber bands or anything.
I need that.
What do you mean?
I need pain salve on my balls.
So she massages it in, and I did think it was kind of sweet.
It was sweet.
Like, there was something about the build-up between the early Mistress Denna to now that like kind of worked.
Yes, I agree.
Right? I want to give it some credit. There is something about, like, you do feel some emotion about, like, her slowly treating him nicer.
Yes.
Her share, like, being like, I hurt you, you hurt me, I'm gonna help you, you're gonna help me. Like, there is something that resonates about it. So, like, I do get why people like that aspect of it. And, like, as an exploration of abuse, certain parts of it feel really sweet and nice, and, like, that these little things like that are part of it. So then they gently kiss. She lays back on the bed, holding his hand against her belly. Again, lots of imagery of Richard. Head, hands, everything's on the belly, the womb. I don't know.
His dad's belly was split open and the guts were pulled out too. And so was what's in it. Yeah, I don't know.
What that means. Come to me, my love. I want you very badly right now. He goes to pick up the angel.
Is there in your female body, is there a part of you that would potentially want to have sex after what you just went through?
No. Some people really do get, like, hypersexual after sexual assault. I don't know if it's, like, quite so literal most of the time, meaning, like, the same day, but maybe. I'm sure it happens.
And maybe this cream really did do some work.
Maybe it did.
Maybe it did some work.
And also, I think it's because the idea usually is that you have this, like, connection to your sexuality that's very strong. When somebody uses it against you, you instantly kind of have this impulse to be like, no, I need to do my own version to wipe it away.
Clear it out. Yeah. No, that makes sense. I'm not against that. Yeah.
It's reminding me, I read that book about the woman who was forcibly married to the dragon man who had 2 penises. And
that book, yes.
They have a lot of painful sex because, 2 penises.
Double
they're
dicks,
huge because he's a dragon.
Yeah.
And then he has a magical salve
that heals her up.
That heals her. He puts in her vagina to heal her so they can keep having sex. That's a really good...
Painful sex? Does it feel better with the salve in there already, or...
No, it's just healing her and then they're going to do it again. He picks up the angel because they always have sex with the angel. And then she says, tonight I want you without the angel, please. Teach me what it's like without the pain. And then she puts a hand on his neck and gently pulls him on top of her. And I don't know, there is something nice about it. Like, there's some part of it that you're like, wow, I love that for Denna. My anger comes from nobody else has ever given this much grace.
Yes.
Right? Like, that's my frustration. I'm not saying don't give Denna the sweet...
No, open it up to everybody.
Right, the sweet arc of, like, her being like, ooh, I'm bad, and through it all, I still have this, like, soft human part of me. And I really like that. I like her wanting to do it without the angel, all of that. I just get irritated because I'm just like, why? Like, again, you'd be like, Constance doesn't get that, and blah, blah, blah.
I think in my opinion, the last 2 chapters could have been diced up a little.
Okay.
Into more chapters. And you should have had it 1 or 2 from Denna's perspective.
That would have been really fun.
Yes, and I think it would have been... You could have done a lot more subtle things that... Because this ending didn't feel earned enough, but it was poignant.
Yeah.
So I'm like, you had a good idea. Mm-hmm. You just needed to spend more time. And you needed to give more perspective. And I think in the later books, he does a little bit of a better job painting with a grayer brush.
Do you think?
Certain things. Like Jagang, no. But, like...
Faith of the Fallen.
There will be, like, Sisters of the Dark, and, like, some of them are good.
I'm really
some of them,
curious to get to all that.
Well, we got a while to go. See you in 2037. I don't know.
To say.
Yeah.
Yeah, so anyway, all of this... I had conflicting feelings. Like I said, I kind of enjoyed it. I liked seeing the parts of Denna that feel more complex. I have like some emotional attachment to her for sure. I like want good things for her despite it all.
Yeah.
And so that's impressive that Terry did that. I do think it does come down to a lot of his writing being those flares that I leave in the past and I don't really get to... Because he doesn't include it. And then you kind of are just like, this is a new... idea. New moment. I don't know. Oh.
Yeah, it is very in the moment.
We saved the file, then we like re-uploaded it, but it was like a new version, just like slightly changed. Like, I don't know. That's how it feels.
Which I understand. Like, I get that. But...
Well, so anyway... The chapter was like a fun read. Mm-hmm.
Definitely fun.
There was a lot of shit, though, that was like, what the fuck is this? And it could have been more fun.
Definitely.
Yeah, if it had been split up, stretched out a bit, I got like way more context to like Constance and Denna's relationship, and it felt more nuanced. Constance felt more interesting, and like
maybe even a third Mord-Sith or anyone else that lives in this place.
Anybody else would have been interesting.
What about Tobly the missionary?
Like, God forbid you're just like, oh, there's a guard that is outside Denna's room every day, and he has a little bit of a personality. I don't know.
Jeff who makes the salads.
Yeah.
Like, I don't fucking give me people.
Nah. What are the missionaries up to? Why don't they talk to anybody?
Some people are saying hi to Denna. God forbid we fucking introduce anyone.
Dark and Rawl to have sent like somebody, like one of his, he has like an assistant or something who comes down and is like, oh, Denna, you're here. Here's Master Rawl's gonna need you soon. Make sure you're doing XYZ with Richard. Like, this is very important.
No, that can't happen because Dark and Rawl's not worried about any of that.
It's just so, yeah, it really is barren. Where the fuck are all the people? Why is nobody engaging with anything?
Nobody lives here.
Because, like, we're going to show up in the Garden of Life. I don't know that we're going to know what happened. I think we're going to find out via the meeting of everybody. Okay, I don't know. Frank's contact fell out, so I guess we should end.
I don't need it. I can see y'all. All right.
Do you have anything else you want to say?
I'm excited to read more. I'm hyped. Guys, we are cruising. We are nearing the end.
He's going to blow that whistle, boys. He's going to blow that
I
whistle.
somehow didn't have it spoiled yet, so I don't know what the fuck's going to happen with that bird, but I hope good things.
Yeah.
The many albatross that assist Richard.
We will see you in 2 weeks for more. Chapter 43 coming at you.
Love you guys.
Love you guys.
Bye.
Bye.